The last call, thinking that I know you're not sure. Make a long stop, ready or not. I see you, but I need to know more. What you wanna do? Cause I know we didn't dance, but I saw you watching on the dance floor. Maybe at the exit door, and maybe we could talk some more. Oh, yeah. You stand beside me, you're watching me, and the feelings. Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it, pursue it, work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, if you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Omena. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.
Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn. As you guys know, we are in our last Thursday in Women's Month, even though every day of every year is Women's Month and Women's Day to me. But for this last Women's Month Thursday, we have our CEO and founder of Juneteenth NY. I'm so honored to be here with Athenia Rodney, who will be introducing her new business baby, starting with the end, and she'll be discussing starting with the end in mind. Sell your business. Not mind your business, but sell your business. Come on up, Athenia. Hey, lady, how you doing? Happy birthday week. For those of you who don't know, it is also our founder's birthday week. It was just 2 days ago, if I'm correct. Or 3 days now.
Monday.
3 days, a few days now. So, what's going on, girl?
I'm good. I forgot to put my crown on today. I've been wearing my crown all week. Everyone's been looking at me like, what's that? Why are you wearing a crown? I'm like, it's my birthday. So I just love the energy. But thank you. I am excited and I'm glad to be here. It's weird to be on the other side. Like, you know, this is different.
I was just going to say it's so natural to be chatting with you. I'm like, but it is totally different to have you on this stage. I've had you here before, but not only has the show had a lot of growth since then, your life within itself has had a lot of movement and a lot of growth. It's always been growing and going for both of us, but just a lot more for us both lately. So it's a pleasure to really, really have you here and to hear what you're up to. So since today's will be a presentation style. So what I'm going to do is have Athenia share a little bit about herself and what she's up to right now. And then she's going to go into her presentation. We'll come back afterwards and then we'll chat with her a little bit. And then we'll also be introducing a new element of the show. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask them at that time. All right. I'll see you soon, Athenia.
See you soon. Thank you. And hello, everyone that is joining. I am super excited to be, this is weird, like to be on my own platform as a guest on the feature. To talk a little bit about myself, I have been doing event planning for the last, 25 years. It has been a blessing in so many ways. When I had my first child, I lost my 9 to 5 job. Actually, I had a premonition, I had a dream that I was going to get fired the night before. And I told my husband that that I had the dream. And then I went to work and I went to the bathroom and I came back and my office door was locked. And my director invited me into their office and we're sitting down and they offered me a severance package. And it was like, we can't continue your role right now. We're downsizing, yada, yada, yada. And I walked out skipping and they were like, "You're happy?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I already knew that this was going to happen." So I have definitely been in a space of listening to what God has to say to me and moving in that space. And that has definitely been what has led me on this journey here. Going from the event planning business to being a starting member of the Juneteenth NYC organization and having it be the largest event in New York City with over 35,000 people who attended every single year, whether it be virtual or in person. That has been a blessing to me. In those 14 years, I have done what I did not really realize I was doing, which was coaching. I was having conversations with people about how to expand a business, about how to level up their business, about how to present themselves in a space that others would find more receiving and receptive. And being able to offer opportunities for grants and different things. I would say the biggest surprise to me was when I decided to go as a MWBE, and a lot of people are like, "What exactly is that?" MWBE is a Minority Woman in Business Entrepreneur. It is a designation that a lot of cities have right now where they are trying to give more business to Black, especially Black females or people of color. So that they can get additional exposure because they realize that the playing field is not equal. There are a lot of white males that dominate in those areas because they have the capacity to, they have the finances to. And so this has been an opportunity to get people through the door. And when I applied, I was the only balloon person that was in that space that was a person of color. And I was like, this has got to change. And instead of being, "Oh, yay, I'm the only person in this space," I was like, "Yay, I'm the only person in this space. How can I help other people to get into this space as well?" And then COVID happened, and so many people were not able to apply for the funds that were available to them because they just didn't have the necessary documents. They didn't have an LLC. They didn't have a business bank account. None of those things were in place. And that broke my heart to see so many businesses having to close down because they didn't have those things in place. So with Juneteenth NYC, I have spent 14 years working with individuals to help them to grow their business. And so when I moved down to Georgia, it was put in my heart, but how do I make this all fit? How do I bring everything together that I do into one space, so that it is not disjuncted? Because I felt like, oh, I'm doing my balloon business, I'm doing my event planner business, I'm doing Juneteenth NYC. And there was nothing for me in my mind that connected them all together. And so the coaching business came upon me. And it came on because of Woo. Yesterday, I was on Woo Nation, which was out celebrating the 3-year anniversary of Wake Up Everyone, which is a part of a program that Jamie and I are part of, which is called Be the Tree. And that opened my eyes. I went on there and I started talking about social media and all the things that I know that I've been able to utilize when building our Juneteenth platform. And people started setting up meetings with me and I'm having conversations and people like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. You helped me so much. I'm going to start implementing this, putting things together." And somebody was like, do you do this? Do you coach? And I was like, no. They was like, "You should do some coaching." And that was where the business was born. So I am thankful to my Woo and to my Be the Tree community always, because they are always helping to elevate me and to level me up. So enough about my story and all of those things, but that is really what encapsulates all of how we brought it all together. So Keisha, if you can bring up the first slide. I want to see, I see we got some people in the house. I see Saints Perspective. I see Denise. Hey. Who else? I saw a couple of other people that were putting in stuff. Hey, Pippi. Hey, I see my mom. Hey, happy birthday. Thank you very much. Yes, major shift. And yes, look at me now. I'm continuing to grow and glow in different spaces. Let those tears of love for what you do flow, sis. Not yet. I'm not ready. It's early. Hey, Chantel. So if you are in the room, definitely please drop something in the chat. Let me know that you're here. I am excited to have you. So we are going to talk about starting with the end in mind, sell your business. So my balloon business was something that I have been doing, and it became a real pain point for me as I was preparing to leave to move to Georgia. I was trying to get involved or get my children involved in different activities on the weekends, and people were contacting me. And guess what? I couldn't go. I couldn't go to birthday parties. I couldn't do any of those things because most of the events that I was doing were on Saturdays. And I was leaving my house at 5:00 in the morning, and I was going all the way until 7, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. So pretty much the entire weekend, I was not able to see my children. It became frustrating as I saw them growing and I wasn't being a part of it. I had a community, and I love that my community was there to support me. My mom, my brothers, my sisters, all of them would watch the kids on the weekends, their godparents, but it wasn't me. I wasn't able to be present. And the shift started to come for me where I was like, okay, what can I do so that I am not having to be present at all of these events? And it came to me as far as my husband does DJing. And there was a program where you signed up, and if you DJ'd, you were put into like this portal. And whenever there was an event, they would send a message like, there's this event, there's this date, and we want you to sign up to take the event. And I was like, well, why not do something like that for the balloon business, where I'm getting balloon ambassadors, people who are up and coming in the balloon world. I can do some workshops, do some trainings with them, and then I can help them to get jobs, especially in the corporate world, because it wasn't, again, like I said earlier, it wasn't an area where a lot of people were looking to go into. And so I want to help people get into that space, but it's difficult. I feel like it's difficult to just throw people into a space and like, you got to do this, you got to do that. I feel like there are steps that we have to do to kind of lead people into that space. One is understanding the culture of being in the corporate space and doing corporate events, understanding the expectations that come with that. So all of those things have created a culture for me that I had to create. And be able to implement when I was bringing on these now balloon ambassadors. So it's been 2 years now, and I have not touched a balloon. But I still have been running a balloon business. I have, I think maybe 7 or 8. I did an interview this morning with another balloon ambassador who's interested in coming into our community, and we're looking to grow to at least 20 people. But all of that to say, I'm not as involved with the process as I was before. I have people who are managing the process, and we're going to talk about this next. So if you can go to the next slide, please. So I would like to hear from you. If you do have a business or you are working for a company, what are some things that you may love about being an entrepreneur? Well, I take a sip. So I definitely want to hear from you. What are some things that you love about being an entrepreneur? And I see we have some other people. Hi, Chantel. Hey, Z. Hey, Jasmine. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And yes, the Suited Sisters are in the building. That is another community that has been prayerfully supporting me and mutually supporting each other as we grow in our businesses through the word. And that is definitely amazing. Hey, Candace. So I'll start for myself. What are some things that make that I love about being an entrepreneur? I love the fact that I can make my own schedule. And a lot of people say, you know, what does that mean? And it's not until you, in my opinion, until you are a true entrepreneur that you are able to do that, to move into a space of making your own schedule where you can. This morning I was at my kid's school. I'm able to be in that space and I'm able to come here, do this. So I'm able to navigate things and to set things in my way. So I think I saw Jamie said autonomy, choice of what I say yes and no to. Very true. Being able to take on jobs, being able to take on different attributes or things that you want to do. Being able to say no, like that is your choice. You know, I was very clear, like on types of events that I would not do. If it was the event that was in certain areas, just for the safety of myself, the safety of my staff, I, you know, didn't do it. I had a wedding that I was supposed to set up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're sitting outside and we're waiting for the door to be opened. And a pimp walks down the block and he starts shooting at some people behind us. And we drove out of there, we boated out of there, and I called the customer and I told them, I can't do your job. Like, I was sitting outside for half an hour and we just got shot at. Like, it's an unsafe environment. I'm not going to continue to put myself in that space. I'm going to return your money. And she called me, out the wazoo. And I was like, I'm sorry, my safety, my team's safety is more important. Like, being able to do that. If I was working for a company, they probably would have been like, no, you got to go and do it. I don't care what the cost is. We need to get that money. And when you have your own business, you definitely are able to say no to things and say yes to things that you want to. As I became an entrepreneur so far, I love the preparation process. Chantel says, yes, being able to prepare things. Mike Makala says, I enjoy the networking opportunities to meet other founders and sharing services and supporting each other. That is definitely a big thing. Business is definitely about networking. And when people get brick and mortar spaces, what they forget a lot of times is about the networking part. You still need to network. Like, just because you have a brick and mortar space, you still need to go out into the community, let people know that you're there, go to community board meetings, send out flyers, do promotions for people who live in the neighborhood. Like, be a part of the community. That's what networking is really about. And that's how we've been able to be really successful with our Juneteenth event and with my balloon business as well. Jasmine says, I'm not a full-time entrepreneur yet, but I do love the fact that I have creative control. Yeah, being able to control what you do, how you do it, how the types of designs or what you want to put into it. I'm not sure what your business is, Jasmine, but there are so many. Just having creative control is important in so many different spaces because you don't always have that. Like, you get to choose. I was taking a workshop early this year with my mentor, and she talked about you get to choose, and this is one of those opportunities where you get to choose. Candace says, I hope one day to fully be an entrepreneur. I like to be free, just move the way I need to be present in my children's lives, school trips, vacation, etc. Yes. That is definitely why I do this, because I get to do those things. My kids are like, Ma, they expect me to be there. If I'm not there, it's like, what do you mean you're not there? So definitely being able to be a part of your family, be a part of your community in a way that you want to be a part of it. So I'm going to go to the next question was, what do you dislike about being an entrepreneur? So we talked about all the things that we like, right? The autonomy, the freedom to be able to make decisions, all of those things. And then let's talk about some of the things we dislike about being an entrepreneur. So I'll start off as you all are putting in the chat what you dislike. So for me, I dislike cold calling. I dislike sales calls. I dislike So many things. Creating invoices, like that's a pain point for me. I love having conversations and getting at the heart of a conversation with somebody. So especially with the event planning, I'm an emotional connector. So I like to be in a space where I am emotionally connecting to the work that I'm doing. But yeah, at the after part, the part afterwards where I have to like go and get all the details and the nitty gritty and put it in a spreadsheet and send it off in an invoice, following up to get payments when payments don't come through. Like those are all of the things that are pain points for me. So what do we have in the chat? I just like not having the framework. Interesting, Sabrina. We're definitely going to talk about some of that, and we call those systems. And we'll get to that. So I like that. Pippi said, I love connecting with my customers, getting to know them personally, saying enjoy, insert your name, enjoy, Athenia. Yeah, I agree. Having, it sounds like the personal connection, the relationship, but what do you dislike about your role and your job? Some people, managing the books, making sure that the numbers match up. Like that is also another thing for me that I disliked. Sabrina says, I dislike selling. Yes. Making those selling, closing the deal. That's what we call closing the deal, right? Saying, okay, well, instead of 200, can you do 300 or 500? Or instead of 2,000, can you do 5,000? Definitely going from those conversations as, oh, yeah, we'll do it for 200, or, oh, no, our price is $2,000 and that's all we're going to do. Like being able to have that kind of conversation. To be honest, I used to dislike small beginnings, but now I appreciate them, and I used to care about who supported and who didn't. But I'm just thankful for any support. Yeah, that's real. And I do want to offer to you, Jasmine, with that where support lies, we have to think outside of our framework. A lot of times we're like, oh, my friends didn't support me, my family didn't support me. And we have to understand that maybe our friends and our family are not our customer, and being able to understand who our customer is so that we can sell to them, because our customer is who is going to purchase our products regardless of the price, without asking for discounts, asking for friend and family discounts, all of those things. Friends and family are great to get your business started so that you can get experience. But as far as customers, they're going to honor what you do. So I definitely wanted to pour into you for that one. Chantel, the actual business part, the documentation. Yes, managing the documents, all of the back of house stuff, paying the bills. Yeah, all of those things are definitely not having a steady income, the administrative aspect, finding clients. Yes, Candace, that's real. I just want to be, so Hootsuite said, I just want to be my gift and not have to learn all of the tech stuff that goes with it. Yeah, that's real. And we have something for that as well. Jamie, I just like the management part. All you've mentioned. Oh, and the social media element, but you're so good at the social media element, Jamie. So maybe taking a look at maybe utilizing social media in a different aspect for your business might be something that you do instead of how you are engaging with it now. And I can relate to it. Be so true. Awesome. Well, thank you. If you can go to the next slide. So thank you all for sharing all of your pain points that come with doing your business and honoring yourself, right? It's good to know what you like, and it's good to know what you don't like about doing your business. And guess what? For all of the things that you mentioned that you don't like, there's somebody who can do it for you. And I had to learn the hard way because I was doing it all. Like when you are an entrepreneur, I call a solopreneur, when you're just getting started, that is what you are. You are doing all of the work. You might have some things that you outsource. Like at one point I started to get an accountant to manage, and I was like, I have an accountant managing my personal, doing my personal taxes. And I was like, okay, let me venture into what does it look like if you did my business taxes and did it on a regular basis, so that I'm not getting the anxiety at the end of the year of where does my money stand? Where am I with my taxes? How much am I going to have to pay for things? Like those are all really big. So I just want to go through some of the major pieces that when you're talking about starting with the end in mind, which is if you are looking to sell your business. And I thought that I would never sell my business. Like that was something I was like, I'm always going to do my balloon business, but life changes. Things happen. My husband had a stroke at one point during COVID. We had COVID, which was a whole series of events that were happening. There are so many things that were happening in life that helped me to change my mind about, oh, I'm going to hold on to this one thing. And what God gives you to start with does not mean that God is going to continue to keep you in that space. And maybe just the starting platform, which it was for me, it was the starting space. It wasn't the end all be all. And just being able to realize and understand that. And to not feel like you put in all of this time for no reason, that you have a reason to be able to take from the business that you did. And a lot of that is being able to walk away with some money at the end of the day. And even if that's a small amount of money, even if it was $5,000 or $10,000, it's $5,000 or $10,000 that you didn't have when you started. So one of the big things, yesterday I realized a lot of people don't know what an SOP is. So a SOP is a standard operations and procedures. And I would like to hear if you know what an SOP is, please put it in the chat. What your version of an SOP. And I know a lot of my student sisters are on, and I know that this is something that Bianca has talked about in spaces. So you all should be very familiar, and I should be seeing some answers coming in about that. So I'm going to go to the next one and I'm going to come back to it. The other is automation. There's so many things that are out right now about what you can do. And that is AI. That is very big. So I use a lot of AI right now, or you might see a lot of AI. If you have WhatsApp, if you have Facebook, if you have Instagram, they are now allowing you to pick up on keywords. So for example, for my Juneteenth business, we get a lot of messages in our DM and our direct message that asks us how much are vending tables. And so anytime there are the words vendor, exhibitor, are you taking small businesses? Those are all keywords that we put into our AI system, and it'll automatically respond with an answer. Yes, we are. Please go to our website or please look at our Q&A for further details about how to apply to be a vendor. So this helps in a lot of ways because we have 50, 60 people some days that are inboxing us. And for me to sit there and have to go through each and every one of those is a lot of time consuming. And a couple of people said we value our time, right? Being able to go and be present when we're with our kids and on school trips. I couldn't do that if I'm constantly responding, which I was doing at one point until I learned about automation. So there's so many things that are now available to you to be able to automate your business. So SOP. So did we get anybody put in? So Cheryl, she was at our session yesterday. Standard operation procedures that it takes to make your business go on a day-to-day basis. So exactly, SOP. So I learned more so about an SOP when I was doing a plan. I was managing an event and it was a 2-month event, and people had to basically have these stalls. They had these businesses like small stores in this platform, in this space, and they would be there for the first week, and then the second week they start getting tired, and the third week they're like, oh my gosh, I need to find other people to do this. And then the other people would come and they would be sitting there and they'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, did you open the gates? Did you sweep the floors? Did you mop? Did you make sure that there was change in the cash register? Did you change out the water? So I'm sitting there and I'm telling them all of the stuff for somebody else's businesses that's not even mine, to make sure that they're prepared for a customer to walk through the door. And that's when I found out about SOPs, and it saved my life. I started having everybody. I was like, okay, as you walk through the door, I want everybody to write down every single thing that you do. I turn on the light, like down to the simple things. I turn on the light. I take out the garbage. Like all of those things are important because these are things that you want somebody to do to be able to replace you. So just think about what are the things that you want to have in place that if you are not able to be present, that you want somebody to do so that your business doesn't suffer, that the the culture of your business stays the same no matter where it goes. So as I was able to go into my balloon business and pass it on, there are certain things that are very big. We have over 275 5-star reviews on our Google and our Yelp, and that is not by happen chance. That's because there are certain protocols that I have in place that all my teammates, all of my staff, and now my partners are asked and required to do in order to maintain the integrity of their business. And that is because I have SOPs in place for them to be able to follow. So that is what an SOP is. We talked about automation. Next, I'm going to talk about is virtual assistants. So a lot of the things that a lot of you all talked about were things that a virtual assistant can do. All a virtual assistant is someone who is outside of yourself, that can be virtual and can take on all of the roles. So some people talked about managing social media. Virtual assistants can do edits. They can take on the persona of who you are, understand what your mission for your and vision for your business is, and they can go and they can start to replicate that in your social media interactions, responding to people, liking posts, creating designs that are relevant to your brand, and all of those things, all of the things that you dislike doing, they are able to do for you. And some people are like, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. There are so many different options. And one of the things that I teach as part of my coaching plan is what some of those options are. And a lot of that may involve understanding and working with people overseas. That is a big space that a lot of us in our community are not familiar with. So I'm going to go on to customer service. So a big thing for customer service for me that I have done that has helped with being able to sell a business. I have a database that holds all of this information: birthdays, anniversaries, any special dates, commemorative moments. I remember I had a customer that we were doing a funeral for her child. The baby, I want to say, was maybe a year old and had passed away because of a disease. And I sent a card to her after I did her balloon. She wanted to do a balloon release. And after the event, I sent her a card. She has been such an advocate for me just because I did that one thing. It was something that was out of my heart. It wasn't something I was doing as a business mantra, but it became something that I created as something that I continued. But I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine losing your child and what that would feel like. And I sent them a card. And now she refers so much business to me. And she's an event planner, and I didn't even know who she was. So you really never know who you have, who is coming into your space as a customer. But those little touches, those little things, just being able to remember somebody by means that much. Being able to pick up the phone on somebody's birthday and hear your voice or leave a voice note. There's so many things that we can do with technology now that we can make people feel special. I was giving people energy back the same way they was putting it on me. My birthday was on Monday and it was like HBD. So I was like TY. So you wanted to give me a short, you wanted to give the impression that you were saying, you were engaging with me, and I'm going to give you back that same energy. Sometimes I always be like, thank you. I really appreciate you. But a lot of the times it's like you give what you get. So what you put into the world, you get back. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was money, how you set up your money. So there's a program that we talk about, which is called Profit First. And a lot of people don't know about this, but this is something that is really major. And what I've learned as I've grown up the scale, once you start to get a certain amount of money in your bank account, you will notice that the bank will say, hey, you can open up 4 or 5 bank accounts for free. I was like, well, why, when I have a lot of money, you're telling me I can open up all these bank accounts for free and there's no problem? Or I get discounts if I have this amount of money in this account and this amount of money in that account. So I started to do research. And when you start to make a lot of money, they encourage you to split your money into buckets. So there are buckets that you should put your money into. One being a profit bucket, one being a tax bucket so that you are paying your taxes, one being a bucket for your overhead to be able to pay your staff and to pay your monthly bills that are coming in on a rolling basis, one to pay yourself. One that is a big place that we in our community do not do. We don't pay ourselves, and when we do that, that's where we hurt ourselves. And then the other one is just the income bucket. So that's the bucket that all money comes into. You don't pay anything out of that account. But weekly, you take everything out of that account and you put it into those different buckets. And we go over like what that looks like, why you do that. But it helps you to be able to manage your funds. If you think about this, when you have a tube of toothpaste and you first get a brand new tube of toothpaste and you put it on your toothbrush, you might put the whole toothpaste from top to bottom, right? And brush your teeth. And when you get to the bottom of the toothpaste and you like at the very, very end, how much toothpaste are you putting on your toothbrush? It'd be a little pea size. If you ever read the instructions on your toothpaste, it says put a pea size amount of toothpaste on your toothbrush. So all you need to brush your teeth is a pea size amount of toothpaste. But we sit there because we see more, we decide that we're going to use more. But so that's the same thing with your bank account. If you have an account that you only see, this is the amount that I have to spend because you've allocated monies into the other areas. So when you get to tax time and you have to pay your taxes, guess what? There's no stress because you already got a bucket with all the money that's needed for your taxes to pay out of that bucket. So those are some of the things that we'll definitely talk about with our programs. Know your customer. We talked about earlier on knowing their birthdays and all of those things, but also knowing like what do they like to read, where do they like to go, how do they shop, what do they like to eat, like all of those things are important to know about your customer, because the customers who do that thing usually do that and have friends who do the same thing. So they say birds of a feather flock together, and that's very true. People who are into fashion, they usually go to the same places, they engage in the same things, they like going to similar restaurants and so on and so forth. So understanding what your customer is, which for me is creating an avatar. What does an avatar look like? Next is funnels. So what is a funnel? A funnel is a process that your customer goes through as they come into the door. So from day one, when they put in inquiry onto your page, what are you sending out to them? What's the message that goes out to them? Is it a text message? Is it email? Is it a social media response? Like all of those things, and taking them through an entire process throughout the year so that you are having constant engagement. I learned a lot about that because of my Juneteenth business. We work with sponsors, and just think about this, that our event is only once a year. It happens in June. So we start reaching out to them in January and we're like, hey, how you doing? Just letting you know we're doing our Juneteenth event. Can we get that $50,000 that you did last year? And then they looking at us like, oh, you haven't spoke to us all year. Like, how are you? Like, what's going on with you? Like, what's new? Like all of that stuff. So funnels help you to stay involved and keep engaged with your customers so that they have an understanding of different things. It's a great space to put education, to tell your customers about what you do. When I was doing balloons, there were a lot of things that people didn't know about balloons, like balloons are biodegradable. If you leave them outside, they're going to disintegrate. Like all of those things would help people to stay engaged with what you have. Knowing your mission and vision, which is very important, and understanding that your mission and vision can change at any given time. That is important to understand and to be fluid in. My mission and vision for Juneteenth has changed over time as I've continued to grow, as I've continued to build, in which I'm going to go into build a tribe that helps you to support that mission and vision, because they've helped to shape like what that looks like and to keep me grounded in what the community wants for Juneteenth. So the same thing would be for you and your business. And then last is to build a tribe. And this is not the easy thing to do. to find people who are willing to come into your space and to help you to grow. And there are people out there that will do that. And it's all about the ask, putting the ask out there. This year was the first year. I have a tribe of 40 people on my board, and that is amazing. And that all happened because I put out the ask. I literally put an email together that said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we do. This is my goal. This is my focus, my mission, and my vision. Do you want to join and be a part of my tribe? And guess what? People were like, yes. And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh. Like, people actually want to support me. So you'll be surprised with how many people are actually interested in doing and being involved in what you have going on, because what you have going on matters. If it matters to you, it matters to others. And I'm complete. You can come back on, Jamie. You're on mute. No muting, unmuting. No, not working. There you go.
Here we go. My mouse was sleeping. Oh, wow. So full, so much information. I'm like, so many things that I know that I need to reach out for and to inquire. And it's so crazy, right? So I happened to had just started shuffling. I'm like, I intended on having conversation when we returned, but I happened to just be shuffling I was shuffling for myself, but little did I know that I would be popping back on screen. So maybe I wasn't just shuffling for me. But I'm going to continue to shuffle while we chat a little bit.
Sure.
That was such a wealth of information. I know we have a lot going on in the chat. Let's look at that. Can you pop up any questions that we have for Athenia? Or any statements that are sharing some kind of knowledge that wasn't shared by Athenia already?
Cheryl said, I truly have no idea of my SOPs for my biz. I make products. I fill orders as I receive them. I know that there's a lot that I can have others do beyond like social media, beyond the social media. Yeah. There are internship programs that you can help, grow someone else into the business. So having an SOPs of what you do to make your products. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm afraid they're going to take my stuff and they're going to run with it. That's where contracts and agreements come into place. But do understand what's for you is for you. Nobody can take your thought. And I think we need to get out of that mindset that somebody's here to take my vision. There's so many people who are doing Juneteenth stuff, but God placed in my heart the way to do it, the way to make it happen, the way to be in community with it. And nobody can do it like me. And you have to be in that space where you also understand that nobody is going to make your product like you, regardless if you told them all of the ingredients. If that was the case, we wouldn't have recipe books. People are like, oh, I'm not going to share the recipe because it was my grandma's recipe. But guess what? That person who originally made it you will never make it like them.
That part, that is so true. And I was something that came up for me, and I'm not sure maybe on the minds of others out there. I think I've always had like this hesitancy of someone managing my social media with that same fear in mind, not necessarily, or a similar fear, I should say, that they will post something like we've seen it with celebrities where something will be posted and now they're part of cancel culture, and it's something that they may not have even realized or approved to be posted or shared. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's one of those areas. So what would you suggest and offer in, like, what are the things that we're looking for when you're going to hire someone to manage your social media? What are the things to look out for, and what are the things to look for?
Yeah, so definitely having an SOP for what that looks like for your social media posts. So for me, when we do our Juneteenth posts, we have them out for the entire month. I asked my virtual assistant to do an entire month worth of posts. and we go through each of the posts, and there might be things that we'll add into the post, like, oh, we forgot about a holiday that was coming up and we want to add something into that space later. But at least when you have I would say at least 2 weeks, it gives you time to sit down to review it all, see how it sits with you, see how you know, if that works. Does the picture match the content that's being posted? Like, all of those things are a part. So you still have an active role in putting it together, but you're not the one that's doing all of the creation, doing all of the posts, doing the engagement and follow up with it.
Got you. Understood. All right. And is there any other question in there, Keisha? I think I saw someone pop. Yes. How can we get started?
Can we get started? Sure. So I guess, Keisha, you can drop in the chat my website, which is just atheniarodney.com. And trust me, for a long time, I am a humble pie. When I was doing Juneteenth for a long time, I was like, no, you can go upstage, you can go ahead, you can do the introductions, you can do the welcome. And then people were like, no, you have to be the face. And I'm like, I'm not ready to be the face. Like, what do you mean? So knowing that as you continue to elevate in your business, that you have to be the face of what it is. And so I went out on a limb, and so it's atheniarodney.com. My husband is jumping for joy because he's always like, it wasn't until the Rodney was on it that people get to put respect on your name. And I was like, really? So.
Gotta love it. All right, folks. So you see how to get started. You have all the information. So y'all know who to reach out to. Athenia Rodney at atheniarodney.com.
Most definitely. I see some questions. So do you help create email funnels? So yes. So we have a self-guided platform, and then we also have some of my staff that will work with you to do email funnels for your business. So to understand, but that comes with the process. So we have to understand like what your mission and vision is, and go through that process, understand what your avatars are. So who are your customers, who are you speaking to? Because you want to speak to them the way they want to be spoken to.
Love that. And someone said she is the best. Whoever that was that's looking to hire you, their names are not coming up. They're just coming up with user. And the way to handle that for Facebook user, because that was happening to me for a little while, is there was an approval that I had to do in my settings. I had to approve StreamYard to oh, that's Ruth. Ruth, now you know. You need to go approve StreamYard so that way it'll put your little picture up, your little beautiful picture. Hey, girl, hey, another one of our amazing Juneteenth board members. So many people on this board. Just an amazing baby that you've put together here, Athenia. And I'm just so honored, and for so many different reasons, for the connections that get created, for the opportunities that you get to just see other people that look like me, that are out here doing so much in the world. You guys know we had last week, oh, her name is like right on the tip of my tongue. It's like right there. Kelly. We had the amazing Kelly last week, and another example of all these amazing people on the team that Athenia has put together. And it's a really nicely balanced team, folks. It's not like it's just all, I know we've been bringing up the women because it's Women's Month, but we've had Saint's Perspective up here, who is one of our photographers. And it's an amazing thing to be a part of. So I implore you guys to really reach out to her, because this baby that she's grown, it's like seeing a kid go off to Harvard. I don't know if that's how you feel, but for me, that's how, looking at it and just looking at your journey and where you started and where it's growing to and where I know that it's going to, it's like just watching that child just really succeed and do all the things that you wanted to do and to be. So thank you.
I agree. Thank you. Like I said, this is humbling to be able to even announce this. I'm very because there's so many holidays and so many people that I absolutely admire and love, it's so difficult to remember things, especially when it comes to my own business. And so I wanted to make sure that this was in alignment with something that I would remember. And so it just made sense to do it the week of my birthday, to announce the business and to so that I can celebrate it. So every year I will also be celebrating the anniversary of my business growth, and would love to be able to come on and talk about how it's moved throughout the year.
Dope. I was about to say, so we have a standing date. I like that. I like that. So folks, this week will be blocked out forever and ever, forever, ever. So don't come looking for it. And so our amazing founder has just to share a little bit about me with you guys. A lot of people may not know all the things that I do in this space, because when I come here to host for Juneteenth. But I am a healer, and hence the high healer. And tarot cards are one of my modalities that I use to coach, that I use to heal. It's become a tool that I am realizing and accepting that I have a gift in. So our amazing founder and CEO has asked if I would like to bring this element into the show for those that are open to it. And I figured today, why not make this be the first day that we introduce this to the community, since it was her idea and since she's definitely open to it. So Athenia has requested a pull from my favorite deck. It is not a traditional tarot deck. It's a oracle deck, but it's the African Goddess Oracle deck by Abiola Adams. And you can find them on hayhouse.com if you want to purchase them for yourself. So sis, I am going to continue to shuffle. Just let me know when you're ready for me to stop, okay?
You can stop.
Right. And I'm gonna get these up here. Shani had me bringing the cards close up to the camera. I was like, okay, that's an element I never thought of. Then I kept moving my thumb. She was like, stop moving your thumb. So tell me, where would you like the cards pulled from?
Right where the tip of your thumb is. Yep, that thumb. Mm-hmm.
All right. And the top one or this one under it? It's touching a little bit of both.
The
this
one
and the one
under it.
Okay. Wow. Well, sis, for your birthday, for your business baby, you have pulled Mawa Lisa, the card of cosmic power. And let's see if that lighting, can you see it better now?
Yes. Oh, look at that. Is that like a moon and a sun?
It sure is.
I'm curious to hear what it's about.
It is. All right. So for those of you who are into numerology, it is the number 2, card number 2, and Mawa Lisa. So she's the goddess of cosmic power. She's from the country of Benin, the temple of the threshold guardians, and she rocks the element of air. So Mawa Lisa is the force of mother, father, God, goddess. Mawu is the moon. Lisa is the sun. Well, Mawu is the moon, the divine feminine, and Lisa is the sun, the divine masculine. They came together during a fond eclipse to create cosmic power. Mawu Lisa's guidance. You are in the right place. Release fear of your power. You are sacred. You are magic. Now that you know this, you can no longer pretend not to. Embodiment. Rise up in your magnificence. Love and accept yourself fully to unlock everything you seek. Stop pretending to be less than you are. Your real power has nothing to do with external gains. Cosmic power cannot be destroyed or lost. You were created by the same force that birthed the sun and the moon. Your declaration is your power shines from within.
That's powerful. I definitely see all of that, because I've been planning to release this I was going to release it for January 1st, and then I was going to release it for Valentine's Day. And yeah, so that definitely, and that was all because I was just afraid of how it would be received. if I had enough information. And yeah, I would definitely say that card really suits me. And I've been seeing this half moon the last week or so, and I keep glimpsing at it when it's in that phase. So just to see that there, I'm like, it's definitely a lot of connection.
It definitely resonates what I've seen you do in this last, like, just 6 months alone. The last 6 months alone have been really powerful in your world and how you're moving. Just with this, not everyone can manage moving a whole entire and businesses to a whole nother state and still operate like without a bump. And maybe there are bumps on your side, but on the side over here, no bumps were felt. So like just knowing that you were able to do that with such a gel, like that's what I see. It's like sun and moon meets earth and water and all of it. And it just all is so divine. And I'm so honored, so honored. And what's Pippi talking about? She feel like she just met somebody for the first time.
All these hidden talents. See, that's all I wanted to make sure to bring it out in different spaces. Because we have a powerful group.
Please text me. And it may have been for all of us, Sabrina. I am definitely a believer of when we pull cards in a collective space, it may be directly pulled for that person who's choosing it for us, but there's always something that we can all get from someone else's pull. And just being like-minded spirits and showing up and actually exchanging energy in this same space, it's undeniable that we should receive and give each other energy back. So what an honor. So peace and blessings, cousin. Hey, good to see you here, always in this space. And Charles says very powerful.
I love it. Well, thank you all for joining, and thank you for having me, Jamie. This was really awesome and amazing.
Thank you for joining. But before you go, you can't forget to tell us, what does Juneteenth mean to you, sis?
Juneteenth is, Juneteenth means to me, I would definitely say empowerment and education. It is a space of lost education, I want to say. So what I empower people to do with Juneteenth is to find their true history, to understand some of the underlying things that make them who they are, to go back and tell the stories and to share the stories. I think we don't do enough of that anymore. I think that story has been lost. And so Juneteenth definitely means all of that. It means all of the traditions that Juneteenth breeds, being able to bring that into spaces and to not divide, but to bring together in unity, because we are all one people, like they say, one love in Jamaica. We need to make that a part of our overall culture of just one love and unity. And I'm complete.
Ashe, I love that. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I'll see you same time, same place next year.
Yes, ma'am. Love you all. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. I'll see you later.
All right, you guys. Great afternoon. I hope that you guys got as much as I received from this session today. Thank you all, like Athenia said, for being here with us. Next week's guest, we have Ebony Henriquez and Jada Germain. In this session, they're participants, they're children authors, and they'll be talking about their books and discussing ways parents can support their children entrepreneurs. I hope to see you guys here with us again next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Follow us on the Juneteenth New York NY Family Day page, Juneteenth Family Day NY, somewhere in there. Keisha, can you drop the links for those who are joining us for the first time, maybe? And I hope to see you all again. Thank you.
cold. Thinking that I know you're not sure. Make a long stop, ready or not. I see you, but I need to know more. What you wanna do? Cause I know we didn't dance, but I saw you watching on the dance floor. Maybe at the exit door, and maybe we could talk some more. Oh, yeah. You stand beside me. Oh, no. You're watching me, and the feelings.
Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it, pursue it, work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Amina. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.